Hi, this is another edition of the most active stocks in the US stock market brought to you by Bootleg Macro. We're going to look at AI, the weekly chart here. This is the stock that I think is C3.ai. It has taken the stock market by storm as AI has become very popular. We can see that essentially since the very IPO at $100, it's been nothing but a down move until very recently here in 2023. The beginning of January it appears to be the bottom potentially, unless this is just a bear rally. We'll look at the daily chart here. The daily chart for AI looks incredibly ugly. The only true benefit that we may have is that we've come down to near this 20 level, which appears to have been at one point potentially like maybe some sort of support. There isn't enough data that exists for a stock that's this new on the market for you to really trust any levels at the moment. But that big rally up has been incredibly strong. We have seen $20 essentially be held here on Valentine's Day at the beginning of March. It looks like the middle of March, and now potentially again here at the beginning of April. So there is a possibility for a bullish move inside of the AI chart on the daily. Look at the daily sentiment here. Essentially what we've seen based off this recent price action, especially this incredible move downward recently, it looks like on the 3rd of April, we were at 61% bullish. And already on the 5th of April, we're only at 54% bullish. Yeah, we're only 54% bullish, so it really looks like you've seen a complete erosion of the bullish sentiment inside of AI. That's to be expected in stocks that move like this. This sentiment indicator really cannot capture everything that's going on in AI at the moment because there just isn't enough data, but it does appear, at least here, to show the type of moves that we would expect. This is from the last week right here, essentially. So it was at 59% bullishness on the weekly. That's incredibly positive. Like to see that. The volume, not much to see here since this is such a new stock. It looks like we had incredibly low volume, some explosion. I imagine that's ChatGPT really changed the narrative around AI, this company. We can see the volume has significantly outpaced itself recently. We've had, it looks like 1, 2, 3 huge spikes. We'll see if there's another spike that goes higher than the one here where there's 104 million shares traded. Looks like we got to 100 million shares traded. That is good signs to see, though. We do see the moving average continuing to move up and higher, so we would expect more volume in the future. When we're looking at price to volatility here, we can see that volatility continues to rise. We can't really tell what's going on with correlation at the moment, but it does look like it's starting to go negative. When you get correlation going negative and volatility rising, that's not a great recipe unless you're short. Let's look at it on the weekly here. The volatility is rising while the correlation is rising. That's generally positive. When correlation is rising and volatility is rising, that means price can move very aggressively upwards, which is exactly what we've seen. Now we're looking at this non-sentiment trade range for AI. It did have small volatility here where it apparently was falling, which you can see. This is where the volatility was falling up here. Then your range is going to get really tight on what the probability of outcomes can be. But seeing it break up at the top of its range and then continue to stay at the top is very promising. Obviously, that'll update as we get the weekly data at the end of this week. We look at the daily. It looks like today was, again, just a pretty ugly day. I mean, we knew that from the 4th when it was at $33 to wherever it closed on the 3rd, it was at $33. On the 4th, it appears that it was at $24, and on the 5th, it's at $21. That's not an incredibly great move unless you are short the entire way down. What we can see now is that the bottom of the range is completely falling out and is down all the way at $15, while the top of the range is completely breaking out. And just to give you an indication, similar to what I mentioned for the weekly, that's because the volatility is breaking out. As the volatility breaks out, the range is going to expand. But as the price is moving that aggressively, every single day that it updates, it's just going to keep blowing out that range. It's similar to what you saw back here when you were at the beginning of or middle of January. You see the range just blows out. It goes all the way up to the top here while it goes all the way down to the bottom here. The only difference in this price move is that you might actually touch the bottom of the range. So that is a scary look if you're long at the moment. So I'd encourage any precautions, just a little bit of risk management, potentially some hedging. I don't know. I'm not active in this. I have no position. I honestly don't care, but I wish you nothing but the best. Leave the comments below. Are you long this? Do you like this? Do you hate it? What do you think? Let me know.